In the annals of imperial Rome, Octavian Augustus was hailed as an exemplary ruler. Compared to some of his more infamous predecessors like Caligula or Nero, Octavian appears as a paragon of virtue. However, this judgment only holds when viewed through the prism of his contemporaries. Stripped of such comparisons, the figure of the founding father of the Roman Empire takes on a far more complex hue. Join us as we delve into the intriguing story of Octavian Augustus, a man of both remarkable fortune and calculated cunning in the grand tapestry of Roman history. But before we get started, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our captivating content. Now, let's jump right into it. The star of social chronicles and heiress of a multi-million-dollar fortune, Paris Hilton, once jokingly explained what the secret of success in life. The most important thing is to be born in the right family. And in this regard, the future father of the fatherland, Roman, extremely lucky, his family was the most correct. Grandmother Octavian Augustus, on his mother's side, was a sister of Julius Caesar. This predetermined the entire future fate of the boy. Successful military leader Julius Caesar at one point, in 49 BC, seized power in Rome and forever put an end to republican rule. So the young Gaius Octavius Furianus, that was the name given to the future Octavian Augustus at birth, became a relative of not just some military commander, albeit influential, and grandnephew of a powerful dictator. But Gaius Octavius was doubly lucky. Caesar had no legitimate children, his only daughter Julia died before he seized power. And when the Roman dictator thought about the heir, it turned out that the closest relative of the emperor is his grandnephew Gaius Octavius. In order to carry out Operation Heir more smoothly, Caesar decided to shorten such a distant kinship distance and, as was often done in Rome, adopted the young man. According to Roman tradition, the adoptee had to take his adoptive father's full name and add his own name with the suffix "an" to it. So instead of Gaius Octavius Furianus, Gaius Julius Caesar Octavianus was born. At the time of adoption, he was only 19 years old. True, evil tongues claimed that his adoption of Gaius Octavius bought the price of unnatural Sodom sin. But it should be noted that these accusations came from the camp of the Republicans, the main enemies of Caesar and Octavian. However, Caesar's dictatorship did not last long. Already in 44 BC, just a few months after a dubious, for many, adoption, Julius Caesar was stabbed right at a meeting of the Senate. A years-long war for power began, involving the young Octavian, Caesarian generals, the most colorful of whom was Mark Antony, and Republican leaders. In the end, two men, Octavian and Antony, emerged in the final battle. Antony had the military experience, the fame of Caesar's associate, and the Egyptian queen Cleopatra, the main love of his life. Octavian was neither a strategist nor a warrior, his morbidity was well known. But he was a consummate master of intrigue and cabinet, bureaucratic work. The fact that Antony had become entangled with an Egyptian woman was also to his advantage. Roman society could not accept the idea that their empress could become a foreigner. In the end, bureaucracy and xenophobia won out. Utterly defeated, Antony and Cleopatra committed suicide in 30 BC. Octavian became sole ruler. Grateful citizens, at a meeting of the Senate, did not fail to declare the new ruler, Son of God, Divi Filius, and gave him an additional name, Augustus, sacred. The transformation of Gaius Octavius Furianus into Emperor Octavian Augustus was complete. It began what subsequent generations of Romans with an enthusiastic gasp will call the Age of Augustus, a time of internal peace and economic prosperity. So, what kind of man was Octavian Augustus? He wasn't a sadist. But for political reasons, he could be cruel. This is what Suetonius wrote: after the capture of Perugia, he executed many prisoners. All who tried to beg for mercy, he cut off 3 words: "You must die." When someone asked not to deprive his body of burial, he replied, "The birds will take care of it." Octavian did not hesitate to order the murder of young Caesarion, the son of Julius Caesar and Cleopatra. According to Roman law, this child was considered illegitimate, but Octavian still decided to eliminate the one in whose veins runs the blood of Caesar, the official idol of the new power. Like the Jacobin terrorists of the French Revolution, Octavian believed that only the dead do not return, and that the best way to eliminate a threat was to destroy its potential host. Mark's legitimate son Antony, by a Roman woman named Fulvia, was also executed. But Antony's children by Cleopatra were kept alive. Augustus did not consider them dangerous. Surprisingly, but this so ruthless to political criminals, the man showed complete complacency to criminals' criminal. Favorite occupation of the new sovereign was the administration of justice. August himself presided over many criminal trials, where, like Bulgakov's Pontius Pilate, tried to save the defendant he liked the right questions. In his personal life, Augustus was as contradictory as in everything else. Despite poor health, he didn't lead a life of asceticism from his youth. That he lived with other people's wives, do not deny even his friends, said Suetonius. And Mark Antony affectionately rebuked Octavian in his letter, "Why are you embittered? Because I live with the queen, Cleopatra? And you as if you lived with one Drusilla? Shall I be wronged if, while you are reading this letter, you have not slept with your Totula, or Tarantilla, or Rufilla, or Salvia, or all of them at once?" Octavian was married 3 times. His first 2 wives, Clodia and Scribonia, were not very interesting to him as women. They were purely political alliances. But in Livia Drusilla he fell in love at first sight. She became his 3rd wife, and the only really close. True, when they met, Livia was married and 6 months pregnant, but Octavian forced Livia's husband to give her a divorce. The wedding was performed immediately. After coming to power, the former libertine Augustus turned into a strict guardian of morality and family values. Revival of loosened, spiritual bonds, a return to patriarchal purity of manners, this was one of the main points of the August program. Those who did not want to return to patriarchal purity were to be severely punished. In the fight against debauchery, the old man did not spare even his own daughter Julia. Scandalous beauty exiled to the small island of Pandataria. The poet Ovid for frivolous verses was sent even further away, to the town of Tomi, in modern Romania. There the classic of Latin literature and died. Augustus patronized the arts. Following him, his close nobles also reached out. Everyone wanted to imitate the sovereign. The name of one of these people, Gaius Maecenas, even became a noun. Rome was decorated with magnificent buildings. Augustus proudly said that, "Took Rome brick, and leaves it marble." But Octavian's main achievement was a kind of social contract between the emperor and Roman society. Romans turned a blind eye to the lack of republican freedoms and even agreed to tolerate point repression. In return, the ruler provided them with internal stability. With the death of Octavian, in 14 AD, ended and his golden age. Successors, the further, the more rude, began to violate the social contract, which, in general, and was the main guarantee of imperial power. The natural outcome was the collapse of the Julian-Claudian dynasty, in 68 AD. The reserve of durability of the system of power created by Augustus was enough for half a century. That, however, in politics can be considered a very solid indicator. So also considered the Romans themselves, who estimated the era of Augustus as the happiest in the history of imperial Rome. In conclusion, the legacy of Octavian Augustus, the first emperor of Rome, is indeed a multifaceted one. While he may have appeared virtuous when contrasted with some of his more infamous predecessors, a closer examination reveals the complexity of his character and reign. Octavian's rise to power and his transformation of the Roman Republic into the Roman Empire were marked by both remarkable fortune and calculated cunning. He skillfully navigated the turbulent political landscape of his time, forging alliances and consolidating power, ultimately becoming the sole ruler of Rome. His rule brought stability and prosperity to the Roman world, known as the Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and prosperity. He enacted important reforms, supported the arts and culture, and left a lasting impact on the administration of the empire. However, Octavian's reign was not without controversy. His methods of achieving and maintaining power, including the proscriptions and purges of political rivals, raised ethical questions. Additionally, his persona as a savior of the Republic, while transitioning it into an autocracy, highlights the complexities of his leadership. In the grand tapestry of Roman history, Octavian Augustus is undeniably a pivotal figure. His story is one of ambition, strategy, and the transformation of a republic into an empire. Whether viewed as a paragon of virtue or a shrewd political operator, his influence on the course of history is undeniable, making him a subject of enduring fascination and debate. History is more interesting than you think. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let's explore the mysteries of history together.